In this video, we show how to use the dbarchive utility. We start the utility UI and configure the criteria in the settings menu. We'll also consider the uc_utility_archive variable. Then we'll run the utility in batch mode and look at the options. Finally, we'll look at the resulting files and do some high-level analysis with the browser. First, let's provide some context. We know that the current user has to have a matching user object in the system to submit the utility in batch mode. It's also important to remember that if you're going to use this particular utility, you have to have ownership of the files. If you've installed with root privileges, then a standard user may run into issues. The entire directory belongs to the current user, so we're good to go. We can position ourselves in the bin directory and we'll be able to start the UI. The submission of the utility in batch mode requires a command line instruction. This is submitted by the current system user. It must have a matching user object in the system. So we create the object on the appropriate client. Note that authorizations and privileges are not required, the department is irrelevant, and matching is not case sensitive. We can now start the utilities user interface. The UI is quite convenient to enable archiving of the tables and set the initial criteria. To invoke it, we simply use the executable with a jar extension for Windows or the sh extension for Unix. Once this is done, we'll be executing the archive routine in batch mode on the command line, so there won't be a need to return to this UI unless criteria need to be adjusted. If your utilities host does not have graphical capabilities, your settings and criteria will be reflected in the uc_utility_archive variable. If you don't want to use the UI or you're unable to, you can always set up the configuration in the variable. We have to log into the UI the same way we would AWI. The utility is client-specific, and so we have to provide the client number and an authorized user, department, and passwords. As soon as we're logged in, we notice the two data sets and the current number of archivable records. We also notice the criteria, which we're about to adjust. You should enable archiving for all tables. That means messages, statistics, and reports. Comments are archived automatically. For each dataset, we can make adjustments on the type of data we want to archive, say read versus unread messages, and at what point in the past we want to start archiving. Here's our recommendation. Keep these values low. It makes no sense to wait weeks or even days before archiving. There's really no benefit. The sooner you archive, the better. We leave the values at 0. This tab lets you set the configuration of the archive directory. We can set the location and size. If the archive reaches 650 megabytes, which is the default value, then a new directory and set of files are created. Finally, we can set the format of the date and timestamp associated with the records. We save the settings. When we do so, the uc_utility_archive variable is created. Remember these two functions. Forecast will produce a forecast of the records that can be archived, but this requires at least one archive run. You also have the option of resetting the archive flags and redefine them with new criteria. Let's consider the UC_utility_archive variable, which is specific to the clients. These are the settings from the UI: path, size, and date formats. You also have two other settings: meld, which is the messages table, and AH, which is statistics, in other words, the executions. You can make changes here, they take effect immediately. We'll see this back in the UI. We've reached the point where DB Archive has been enabled and configured. All we need to do is execute in batch mode on the command line. Of course, this command can be incorporated in a scheduled task, which is recommended by us service teams. The utility returns a zero exit code, in other words, no failures. We were able to log into the utility thanks to the existence of the user objects we created in the admin tools in AWI. Let's take a look at the resulting file set that we created. In the specified file path, we find a directory, which is the client number. That's the first aspect of notes. Your archives are organized by clients. This is our first archive with the date stamp and the number 0. We find our files. UC_ACMT.txt contains the comments. UC_meld.txt contains the messages. UC_AH, IDX, and TXT are the index and data files respectively for the statistics, and the same goes for RH for the reports. This is the messages generated by the system. Note one important thing. If we were to run a second archive on the same date, then a second directory gets created with a new set of files that includes the data generated after the initial archive. UC utility archive would be updated with more values. The archive set key would be set to 2, and the size, runtime, and date for each table for the last archive are shown. Finally, we'll briefly look at the archive browser. We've made the archive available to this Windows host. We look for ucbarbr.exe. The browser is a simple interface that allows you to load an archive and scan individual records. You can filter by dataset and apply filters in the fields to narrow your search. Each time you make a change, click refresh.